Hello, historians. Today we're going to take a look at ancient Egypt. Just like Mesopotamia, Egypt was settled along a river valley. But unlike Mesopotamia, they could never predict the flooding, and it was violent, and so the culture was very unstable, Egypt is going to be a very stable place. They knew when the Nile would overflow its banks. And this was of great benefit to Egypt because just like here in the Mississippi Delta, when the rivers overflow, this great fertile soil is deposited and crops grow so well. So with the surplus of food, Egypt was very stable and secure. Plus, they were protected from invasion, because you have the desert, the Sahara Desert, protecting them on the west, and cataracts, which is a fancy name for waterfalls, on the southern part of the Nile. Egypt is divided, its history is divided into three different periods. We've got the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. In the Old Kingdom, government becomes instituted, and we know it's a very stabilizing force in the society. Dynasties are set up, bureaucracies are established, and most importantly in the Old Kingdom, the pyramids are built. The Middle Kingdom lasted from 2050 to 1800 BC. During the Middle Kingdom, irrigation projects were set up so that lots more acres could be cultivated. So Egypt will increase its surplus of food. Also, they are going to start to expand their empire and begin trading with people in the Arabian Peninsula and other parts of Africa. What's wrong, Kitty? Okay. New Kingdom, which will last from 1550 to 1070 BC, we're going to have the kings first being called pharaohs. Pharaoh means great house of the king. That's the translation. And during this time, we're going to have to become an empire. An empire is when a stronger area takes over weaker areas. So this is what we call imperialism, and Egypt is going to become an empire. Also during the New Kingdom, we have one of the longest ruling female pharaohs. There weren't many female pharaohs, and she was one of the stronger ones. We know a lot about her because she did a lot of building. Her name is Hatshepsut, and she reigned during the late 1400s BC. Her tomb is located in the Valley of the Kings, and it's quite spectacular. After her death, Thutmose III becomes pharaoh, and people call him the Napoleon of Egypt. He is going to extend the boundaries of Egypt all the way to the Euphrates River, and Egypt is going to become very wealthy during his rule. And the culture will change because now Egypt controls other places, and you've got the influence of that culture on the Egyptian culture. Okay, the next pharaoh is hugely important. His name is Amenhotep IV. Amenhotep wants to change the religion of Egypt. Egypt was a polytheistic society. Polytheism is the worship of many gods. Amenhotep sets out to make Egypt monotheistic. He wants the Egyptians to worship one god, and that would be the sun disk god Aten. He's going to create a new capital called the Horizon of Aten, and he is going to declare himself the son of Aten and his equal on earth. He changes his name. To Akhenaten, which means spirit of Aten. Okay, so let's think. How would you feel if someone wanted to change your religion? Remember, the Egyptians had worshipped many gods. Now, all of a sudden, Amenhotep or Akhenaten wants them to worship one God. He will spend a lot of time trying to get the Egyptians to follow his new religion. And Egypt's power is going to decline as a result of this. You know, cats were very important in ancient Egypt. And they became important, historians believe, because they protected the grain supply. They protected the surplus by keeping the mice and the rats out of it. How about that, Abigail? After Akhenaten's death, the successor was King Tut. His real name was King Tutankhamun, and he died at the age of 19. Not exactly sure why. With King Tut's death, this will be the end of the dynasty, and after that, polytheism comes back to Egypt. In the 1200s BC, the pharaoh was Ramses II, and we know a lot about him as well because of his building projects. He reigned for 67 years, which means he lived to be a very old man. Unusual at this time before a lot of medicine. He had 100 children, and he was believed to be the pharaoh during the time of Moses' exodus from Egypt. Okay, so what did Western civilization gain from the Egyptians? First of all, we have Akhenaten's monotheism, which some historians believe influenced Judaism. We also have writing. The Egyptian writing started as hieroglyphics. They wrote on papyrus, which grew in the Nile and around the Nile, and the writers were called scribes. The next major category is science. They were tremendously advanced in mathematics. They had a number system that they used to survey land, so geometry was important. They also had a 365-day calendar and significant medical experience, mainly from that they gained through embalming of the bodies. So take a look at your notes.